Check the description for the following discount codes. When I did that review of the slip angle tactile transducer kit, I had a lot of people in the comments say this or a butt kicker, Carl, which one would you choose? And I even had butt kicker themselves get in contact and say, well, just in your review of that slip angle kit, Carl, would you like to do a comparison video to Gamer Plus? Yeah, Gamer Plus. And I said to him, and the same I said to everyone in the comments, you can't compare a 4-corner transducer setup with 4 individual channels to a single butt kicker mounted under your seat or under your feet or somewhere similar. It's just not even close. You know, having one on each corner to represent what each wheel of your car is feeling as it goes over road textures, lumps and bumps, is completely different and so much better than just having one butt kicker or other form of tactile transducer on your rig, single channel versus multi-channel. So butt kicker said, well, if we send you another 3, because I already had one, can you do a 4-corner setup because we support that as well? I said, yeah. I said, now that would be a fair comparison. That's like for like then, isn't it? So that's what they've done. They sent me over 3, so I've got 4 of these now, one mounted on each corner. Now, I've done a full review of this before, so I'll try and keep this little bit quite brief and just quickly show you what we've got. Here is one of the transducers themselves. I do quite like the way they look. They've got a sort of a universal clamping mount here for putting on, you know, seat posts, like if you're using it on like an office desk chair, for example, or a lot of sim rig manufacturers produce butt kicker mounts that bolt on and just have a rod that you slot that onto. So that's what this is for. Otherwise, you've got 3 holes, M6 holes there that you can use to bolt to aluminium profile, which is what I did. And then you've got the cable that comes out of it. That's probably 1 meter long with this sort of banana plug type fitting on the end, male and female, for the audio that feeds these transducers. Again, very briefly, tactile transducers produce vibrations to simulate the vibrations that you would feel sat in your car when you're driving along a racetrack. Lumps, bumps, road textures. You can even use them for additional effects like gear changes, engine RPM, and things like traction loss, acceleration, deceleration. You can even use them to simulate G-force. It's not a simulation. You can have an effect for G-force. So when you're cornering hard, say right, and you in real life you'd be forced to the left side of your seat, the left-hand transducers can vibrate to sort of, and that's quite a nice effect actually. But some of these are available using the Hapti Connect software, which is the butt kicker software, and some are not. The one I just described there, actually, the G-force one, is not. But you can use SimHub, which is standalone software, and that works just fine, if not better, in my opinion, than what the Hapti Connect software does. Anyway, sidetracked. This is what it looks like. That's how you fix it onto your rig or your chair. This is how you plug in your audio, which is what it is. You send it sound frequencies, low frequencies that you wouldn't hear. It's not a speaker. It doesn't have a cone, but it is a magnet and a coil. And of course, sound is just vibration, if you weren't aware. This is the cable that then goes from the amplifier to that transducer. It's nice, thick, high quality braided stuff, again with the opposing plug on that end, and on this end, 2 banana plugs, which go into the back of one of their amplifiers, into there. So this is one of the amplifiers, metal construction, nice little rubberized feet on the bottom. We have a knob for adjusting the high cut-off and turning it on and off. We can turn the low filter cut-off on and off. This will, well, both of these filters, they kind of do weird things actually, because a high-pass filter normally cuts off the bass. So like when I'm editing this video later, I put in an 80 hertz high-pass filter, so that anything boomy or bassy, which my voice actually quite is, won't come through in the video. I set it to 80 hertz, so 80 hertz and below is no longer audible. That is a high pass filter. What they call a high cut off on here actually does the opposite. You set that to say 100 hertz and nothing above 100 hertz gets sent through to the transducer. Whereas an actual high pass filter, like I just described, you set it at 100 hertz and nothing below 100 hertz would come through in the audio. So slightly confusing the way that's named there. And the low filter cut off does the opposite If you enable that, I believe it cuts anything below 25 hertz off. Again, that would be a high pass filter. So yeah, that's how they work. Slightly confusing names there. You've then got a clip LED and a signal LED. Clip just means you're sending the volume into this at too high a level from your PC or from your analog audio source if you're running on console and you're using the sort of analog audio inputs rather than a USB input with software, which is what we will be using on PC. On and off button, and then your power supply input as well. On the front here as well, there's volume that goes from 0 to 50 and a power button. So that's all there is on there. Now, these are 90 watts RMS. They're rated to, and I will be talking about how these compare to the slip angle kit a little bit later on. Here's a USB cable, or one of the USB cables. And here's the first issue with running 4 of these versus the slip angle kit. 4 amplifiers. 4 lengths of thick, nice braided cable. Now, when you do the slip angle kit, you get a reel and you cut them to length. So you can make them exactly the length you need to neatly run around your rig. These, of course, come with plenty to be able to put them anywhere. So the ones that are at the front of your rig, for example, which is probably where your stack of amplifiers will sit, is, in fact, I'll put a clip up now of it installed on my rig and how I was using it. Yeah, the transducers that sit at the front have a lot of excess cables spare. You also then have 4 USB cables, so that you need 4 USB ports or go into a hub for that. 4 240 volt main supply sockets as well for us in the UK here. So there is an awful lot of cabling and amplifiers kicking about with this setup. Whereas the slip angle one, there's 1 amplifier that powers all 4 transducers, 1 USB cable, 1 power cable, and you cut your transducer cables to length. So that is a much neater setup straight away. Other things we get, I don't know if I showed you the remote, we get a little remote where you get 4 of them. If you're running 4, obviously, we get a quick start guide and a QR code to scan, and then a manual for the amplifier itself. And then we also get RCA to 3.5mm splitters for headset users on console. In that form, this functions really as a subwoofer. You just using the amplifier sort of cutoff frequencies and filters, you can tune what frequencies get sent to these transducers. So you basically just send the low end there, which for the most part is things like explosions and stuff in games, but it's not anywhere near as tunable, accurate or simulation-like as it is on PC. Even in racing games, it doesn't work. You don't get road texture lumps and bumps specifically based on each wheel. You just get this sound from the game come out, and the low end of that, say if you use the low cut off 25 to say 100 hertz, just comes out your transducers. So it's not a comparable experience at all. But of course we're on PC here and we're comparing it to a slip angle kit, which is PC anyway. So that's everything you get here. You've seen how it's installed. I'll show you the Hapti Connect software actually quickly. It's super simple, which is good and bad. It's good because you can get it up and running quite quickly. You literally just come in here, you choose Game Connect versus the audio tab, which is the one to the right at the top there. You can see all your supported games in the list at the bottom here. And then the configuration is super simple. I've got it set to 4 corners because that's obviously what I have, but you can have left and right sides, front and rear sides, or mono as well, depending on how many butt kickers you have. And then you just assign each of these amplifiers, which are also sound cards, to front left, front right, rear right. And you can test them here to make sure they're all working. So that's the physical configuration. Then there's just the games configuration. You have these basic sliders here. And that's all there is. Those sliders, they're not volume sliders, they're intensity sliders. So they will adjust how sensitive the Hapti Connect software is to the telemetry coming from your chosen sim. But that is all you have. You can't adjust frequencies. You can't assign different frequencies to different effects. There are none of those, like say G-force effects, the left and right corner ones that are quite nice to use. It's very, very basic. But, you know, it's designed to be very basic. If I click here, you'll see the audio mode for audio split. Again, that's for console use, really. We don't use it. But that's all there is in the Hapti Connect software. Now, I ended up using SimHub because for me, the default tuning in Hapti Connect wasn't to my taste. I felt everything was a little bit weak, and in fairness, I imagine they've done this to prevent people overpowering their butt kickers and perhaps blowing them, because having the volume up too much either on the amplifier or on your source at your PC, you could quite easily, overload one of those. They sound horrible when that happens and you don't get a good experience. So I think they've intentionally kind of tuned a safety margin in so as to protect the equipment from people who perhaps don't have the technical knowledge and experience to know exactly what they're doing. They want to be able to just plug it in and it works without too much faffing around. So I can kind of understand that. But for me, the software was limiting, and I got a better experience with more effects available by using SimHub. This is, of course, PC specific. And that's how I got the best out of these. Now, the transducers themselves, how do they compare to the ones in the slip angle kit? These are 90 RMS on paper. The slip angle ones are 50 RMS on paper. I really couldn't say there was much between them. If anything, part of me thought the Dayton pucks that come with the slip angle kit actually performed a little better. But it's been a while since I've used those, and I didn't get them back out and set them all up just to compare because it wasn't that long ago. And I ran 4 of those, or I ran Rekhorn ones, basically the same thing, for a couple of years. So I've got hours and hours of knowing what they feel like. There's very little in it between these and the Dayton ones or the Rekhorn ones. So from that side of things, the physical side of things, it wouldn't really matter which you bought. Software side of things, Hapti Connect, very basic, very limiting, but a big safety margin built in. SimHub is what you use with slip angle, but it can be used with this. And then we've got kind of the ease of installation. And of course, this doesn't come with those isolators that the slip angle kit comes with. So the vibrations do make their way around the room. You do hear objects rattling if you have these turned up enough. I think really, just for ease of installation, simplicity, neatness and tidiness, the slip angle kit and the fact that you get isolators, the slip angle kit definitely wins there. This does look better presented with the fit and the finish of everything. But then we need to talk about price. In the UK, these butt kickers, Gamer Pluses, I keep wanting to say Pro, vary anywhere from £280 to £360, depending where you want to buy them from. There will be a link in the description to butt kicker. I may even have a discount code, I'm not 100%, but if it is, it is. If it's not, you'll soon see it's not. Yeah, 280 to 360, depending where you buy them from. That's just for one butt kicker with one amplifier and the associated accessories. Now the slip angle kit, and so in dollars on the butt kicker website, because I have it here ready, like a good YouTube reviewer, is $280, okay? Now the slip angle kit is $499, so basically it's $300 and $500. So it's $200 more, but for that extra $200, you get 4 tactile transducers, a 4-channel amp and everything you need to do what we've got here, plus in my opinion, you use the better software, which is SimHub. If you wanted to buy, in fact, let's just bring up a calculator. If you wanted to buy 4 of these, I wonder if Butt Kicker actually do, I'm sure they do like a 4-pack, so to speak. There it is. We'll just get the price of that because it might be slightly cheaper than adding 4 of these in together individually. So it's $1,300 if you wanted a 4-pack of these. So that is 2.5 times the price of the slip angle kit. And physically, the experience, what you get when racing, is pretty much identical when using SimHub, or slightly lesser if you have to use the Hapti Connect software. So in my opinion, the slip angle kit does win all day long in both value for money and the usefulness of the isolators as well, and the neatness of the installation. If you do want a slightly simpler setup, then the Butt Kicker with its Hapti Connect really is very easy. Once you've plugged this all in, you just load Hapti Connect and it works. That's all there is to it. But, you know, the contrast, the flip side to that is you lose all your adjustability, and a lot of the effects available in other software like SimHub just aren't there. So to answer everyone's question in the comments on the slip angle review, this or a Butt Kicker, Carl, the answer is, as I said in the comments, versus 1 Butt Kicker, slip angle all day long, and in my opinion, versus 4 Butt Kickers, purely for the price and the neatness of installation, the slip angle kit wins all day long. You could buy 2 slip angle kits and have $300 left over. Now, I am appreciative to Butt Kicker for sending these over, obviously, to enable me to do this video. They must have looked at the slip angle kit and gone, well, that's, you know, literally 2.5 times less than what they'd have to spend to get this, and still decided, you know, to send these over to me to do this sort of comparison, knowing that the value just isn't there. They're a good product, but they are expensive. Anyway, thanks to Butt Kicker, thanks to Slip Angle, and as always, thanks to you guys for watching. Take it easy.